Old Souls Unite. I love that you resonated with that upload about the book I received as a child. This comment, you always cause forgotten memories of mine to surface. Thank you. And I'm glad they are good memories that are surfacing. And this comment I appreciate. These photos and what you're talking about is so beautiful and awesome. I really hope you do find that book. Thank you. I hope I do too. It sounds like you were ahead of your time, but maybe didn't know your Russian caregivers were probably sharing the history of Tartaria, and now everything is full circle with the disclosure. I love trains, and these photos have me wanting to go back in time and enjoy trains, travel, and the beautiful life. I have to make it my goal to travel and be on one of these trains. Let's talk soon. Yes, let's talk soon. I do appreciate that you are resonating with these pictures that I was sharing. And the book that I received as a child from my Russian caregivers, that book, you're right, Golden Empress. I believe that my Russian caregivers were disclosing Tartaria and something even more special that I want to share as I am processing this. It's really powerful. And you even said that it reminded you of Narnia and, the lion Aslan. Yes, that is one of my favorite stories. I love C.S. Lewis and his literature. I was pondering how it's interesting for me that Russia factors in right now. And I know it's not common for somebody, especially like a Black person, to tell you, yeah, I have Russian caregivers. You're like, what? Yeah, well, because my life hasn't been typical, it's been hard for me to get into the anti-Russia, all the Russia hysteria that the legacy media drives into our culture. It's been hard for me to take an anti-Russian stance because I had these wonderful Russian caregivers when I lived in Cuba, and they gifted me this amazing gift that now is connecting this fascination with exploration of lands unknown, terra incognita, and the North Pole especially. That is something that fascinates me. I think of the gospel song Going Up Yonder by Tremaine Hawkins, and it hits different now. My imagination is really engaged. And I know a lot of you are resonating because of the disclosure that we are all experiencing, especially the ones that have gone into the real cosmology and world history, the timeline, where are we, the architecture of the old world and the Antiquitech, the talks of free energy, airships, and all of this wonderful stuff. Reading the book, The Smoky God, that was really inspiring for me. But I want to say this. I'm excited because I see a connection for a lot of us, and I want to share more of how I thrived and survived having childhood trauma, and PTSD and all of the stuff that comes along with that. I want others to know that you can thrive. You don't have to be a victim of it. I've had a crazy life, but I've had to create a narrative, in other words, for how I wanted to look at my childhood trauma. Sure, I could be in victim mode and constantly, just feeling betrayed. I don't know another word because, having a father who was in clandestine activities and being recruited and rejecting such a life and being called I've been called a failed experiment. Yeah, that's but I can laugh at that stuff. I find humor in a lot of things, and it has helped me get through things. So engaging with my memories of childhood. And like I said, I have created my narrative that my father was adventurous, okay? And we lived a very adventurous life. Some of the things people would never believe. I do believe, and I know a lot of you joke around and you think I am an agent of some sort. And that's okay. You can't change people's minds. I don't even you call me Salt and I joke around. You call me Salt. Yeah. I can't watch those movies from Angelina Jolie for some reason. All those kind of movies about assassins and espionage, I can't watch it. And I have figured out that was the track that I was actually recruited as a young child. I was being I don't know what you want to say, groomed or whatever you want to call it, to go in that track, more of the assassin type of thing. And I want to get into that later, not right now. Some people, I have met women when I lived in the Caribbean. I lived in St. Croix for a while, and 2 women approached me, and we used to have lunch once a week. And one of them gave me a book they wanted me to read about different things, like more hidden types of things. And that was kind of the prelude to us meeting for lunch. And we met, like I said, for maybe a year or so every week. And they told me about their childhood. They came from elite families and they were recruited and groomed to be sex slaves. And a lot of them, they were dispatched throughout the world to be with diplomats and politicians. And they shared a lot of their lives. And at this time, one of the things I've noticed about people who survive things like that, they had obesity issues, like they become obese in order to hide themselves. And you would never know that from looking at certain people. You wouldn't know they had that in their background. But it's interesting when you really learn what people have gone through and the ways that they have found to thrive and survive. Some of them barely surviving, and some people have found a way to thrive. But it was interesting when I met with these women. They told me things that, like, one of them, I worked with her actually, and she had picked up on some things about me, and that's what made her kind of lock in and want to talk with me. And we grew to have a friendship, but that is one of the things she did tell me, is that later on, like at a certain age, you're thrown away or you are disposed of, unalived. So they survived that part. And I've survived a few attempts on my life. And a lot of you are encouraging me to write a book. I have been encouraged to write a book. My late grandmother wanted me to do it. And I have attempted to write books, and I have met with some interesting experiences to stop me. But this time, I don't want or need to find out everything. I was told once, my brother used to play basketball with some older gentlemen, like some Jewish gentlemen up in Philly. And one of them, he had some pretty high clearances and things. And my brother happened to ask him about my situation, just my dad's background and stuff like that. And the guy came back after a couple of days or so, and he just told my brother, he said, "Tell your sister to just leave it alone. Don't pursue this, And he was confused, like asking why. And the guy, he said something about national security or something. And I know that they use that national security a lot to shut down people's research and stuff like that. I am not interested in pursuing it in that fashion. If it is ever disclosed fully, that's fine. But I don't need to push it to disclose what happened. And people think I should sue the government and all kinds of things like that. I've never been interested in that kind of stuff. I know that the Most High Yah has brought me through for a purpose. And I'm excited, okay? And I'm excited to share as I learn more about trauma, childhood trauma, surviving and thriving, and just sharing my journey and hoping that it helps and we can just figure this stuff out together and continue this group project that we have. So I want to say Happy New Year, although us tinfoil hat people, we know it's not the new year really, but we'll play along. Happy New Year, okay? And I hope all of your dreams come through.